There are tears that fall so quietly, even the world forgets they exist. They do not scream. They do not beg for attention. They simply fall slowly, silently, like soft rain on cold ground. These are the tears you cry when no one is watching, when the night stretches long and your soul feels heavier than your skin, when the prayers feel unanswered and your strength feels forgotten. But there's something heaven sees that the earth misses. Every tear you shed carries a weight that matters to God. You may not believe that right now. Perhaps you've grown tired of hearing that He is near when you feel so alone. You've read the verses. You've listened to the songs. But the ache? It remains. And maybe, deep down, you've started to believe that your pain is invisible, even to God. But I need you to hear this, not just with your ears, but with the quiet corners of your heart. Your tears never go unseen by heaven. He sees what no one else notices. He listens when no one else remains. He cares when you've convinced yourself that no one should. Even in the silence, He is present, especially in the silence. God is not intimidated by your sadness. He doesn't step away when you collapse. He doesn't flinch at your questions or pull back when your faith wavers. He comes closer, and when your tears fall, He holds them. There's a verse in Psalm 56, verse 8 that says, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." Do you realize what that means? God does not just notice your pain. He memorializes it. He counts every tear, not as a failure of faith, but as a moment of sacred honesty. Your sorrow is sacred to Him. And if God honors your sorrow, why do we hide it? Why do we pretend we're strong when our soul is breaking? Perhaps you were taught that faith means being cheerful, that trusting God means never doubting, never crying, never feeling overwhelmed. But that's not biblical faith. Biblical faith is David crying out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" It's Jesus weeping in the garden. It's Hannah praying so desperately that others thought she was drunk. Faith is not the absence of feeling. It's bringing your full heart to God, even when it's shattered. Let this truth reach you gently. You don't need to hold yourself together for God to hold you. He doesn't need your perfection. He desires your presence. So cry if you must. Fall apart. Whisper prayers through clenched teeth. Grieve. But don't stop believing that He sees you. Because He does. Even now. And in ways you can't yet see. He's already begun the healing. Even if you feel nothing changing on the outside, something is shifting within. Slowly. Quietly. Like roots growing beneath the surface before a flower breaks through. Healing is often invisible before it's undeniable. There will be days when you'll question everything again. That's okay. There's no shame in struggling. There's no failure in feeling weak. The world may reward performance, but heaven responds to honesty. God doesn't need you to impress Him. He invites you to trust Him. In your darkest valley, He is not pacing in frustration. He is sitting beside you, unhurried and fully present. His love does not arrive only after your breakthrough. It surrounds you in the breakdown. Sometimes, what feels like delay is actually divine preparation. Sometimes the silence is His way of speaking to what only silence can reach. There are sacred lessons that only darkness can teach us. Lessons of dependence, surrender, stillness. And it is there in the dark that the brightest truths begin to glow. Do not mistake the absence of noise for the absence of God. He works in whispers, in stillness, in breaths you didn't know you could take again. Every tear you've cried is a prayer. Every sigh, a song only heaven hears. Isaiah 25 verse 8 says, He will wipe every tear from their eyes. That's not a metaphor. That is the gentle promise of a God who kneels, who comforts, who restores. He is not distant. He is near to the brokenhearted. He saves those crushed in spirit. You may feel forgotten, but you are remembered. You may feel discarded, but you are chosen. You may feel lost, but you are known. Heaven is not watching your pain with indifference. It is responding with compassion. So breathe. You are not alone in this. What you are walking through will not define you. It will deepen you. And while your eyes may be filled with tears now, one day, they will reflect joy again. Because God is not done. Not with your story. Not with your heart. Not with you. He is the God who weeps with you. He is the God who stays. He is the God who heals. And every tear you cry matters to him. There's a quiet kind of strength that comes when you realize you don't have to pretend anymore. When you stop measuring your faith by how loud your worship sounds and start measuring it by how honest your prayers are in the silence. When you stop trying to outrun your sadness and instead invite God into it, that's when transformation begins. It's not flashy. It's not instant, but it's real. God doesn't heal us by rushing us. He heals us by walking with us, step by step, breath by breath. Sometimes it's through the embrace of a friend. Sometimes through a verse that won't leave your mind. Sometimes it's just through the simple grace of making it through one more night. Every moment you choose to stay instead of give up, to whisper instead of scream, to pray instead of disappear, that is faith. You don't need to feel strong to be held. You don't need to feel brave to be carried. You just need to know this. You are not forgotten. And your tears, even now, are doing holy work. They are softening the ground for something new, something beautiful, something that will grow. Because on the other side of this ache, there is hope. Not the kind of hope that denies the pain, but the kind that dares to look at it fully and still believe in redemption. Heaven has not turned its face away from you. On the contrary, it leans in. It bends low. It sits beside you and listens. There is no tear wasted. There is no prayer too quiet. There is no soul too far gone. You are loved, and not because of what you've done or failed to do, but because of who you are, His. So let your tears fall if they must. Heaven sees, heaven holds, and heaven heals. This is not the end of your story. This is a sacred beginning. Sometimes we think God is only moved by our victories, by our strength, by our praise when everything goes right. But heaven leans in closest when you whisper His name through tears, when all you have left is a trembling breath and a barely there prayer. God is not looking for flawless saints. He is drawn to honest souls. And when you sit in your car crying because no one sees how hard you're trying, He sees. When you pretend you're okay just to get through the day, He knows. When your chest is heavy and your hope is thin, He is still with you. You were never meant to carry it all alone. Somewhere along the way, we started believing that if our faith was real, we wouldn't feel so broken. But that's not true. The brokenness is not proof that you lack faith. It's proof that you're human. And even more, it's proof that you're living in a world that's not yet whole. But wholeness is coming. Not just in eternity, but in small ways here and now. In moments of peace that make no sense. In forgiveness you didn't think you could give. In joy that bubbles up through your grief. In the kind of quiet healing that doesn't erase your scars, but transforms what they mean. Your tears are not in vain. They are watering seeds of something sacred, something eternal, something no pain can steal. Heaven is not in a hurry with you. God is patient with your process. He knows your timeline. He shaped your heart. And even when you don't feel it, He is holding you together when everything else feels like it's falling apart. You are not a disappointment to Him. Let that sink in. Your doubts don't offend Him. Your fatigue doesn't frustrate Him. Your silence doesn't push Him away. You are still welcome in His presence, still seen, still safe. And there's healing, not because you force yourself to be okay, but because you dare to be real before Him. Healing begins when you stop pretending you're fine and start trusting that you're loved even when you're not. You don't have to be cheerful to be cherished. You don't have to be strong to be safe in His arms. You are already held. So breathe. Let go of the pressure to prove your worth. Let go of the fear that your emotions are too much. Let go of the shame that whispers you should be farther along by now. God does not love a future version of you more than He loves you now. He is not waiting for you to get it together. He is walking with you through the very mess you're trying to clean up. When Jesus wept at Lazarus' tomb, He knew resurrection was coming. And yet, He still cried. Why? Because He felt the pain of the moment. He honored the sorrow. He joined the grief. He did not rush it. He entered it. This is the heart of your Savior. Not just the God who fixes things, but the one who stays when things are broken. You are not abandoned in your pain. You are accompanied. And even when you feel nothing, no clarity, no peace, no relief, He is still with you, whispering, I'm not leaving. Maybe what you need right now is not a miracle, but a reminder. A reminder that God is near. A reminder that your tears are seen. A reminder that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering with grace. One day, you look back and realize you were growing the whole time, even when it didn't feel like it, even when you thought you were going backward. Healing isn't always visible, but it is always valuable. He's doing something in you. Even here. Even now.